After years of technological advancements, humans had finally achieved what many thought was impossible: space travel. The moment humanity broke free from Earth and set foot into the vast expanse of the galaxy was a historic achievement. The world had watched in awe as human ships pierced through the stars, leaving the confines of their planet behind. But this victory was just the beginning. Humanity was about to face the harsh reality of intergalactic politics, where power, alliances, and rivalries shaped the fate of entire civilizations. The first sign of the challenge came sooner than expected. As humanity made its way into deeper space, they encountered a hostile alien species known as the Xiphons. The Xiphons were an ancient race with technology far more advanced than humans could imagine. Their ships could travel faster than light, and their weapons could tear apart entire fleets with ease. From the moment the Xiphons encountered human ships, they viewed humans as a primitive and inferior species, barely worth acknowledging. To them, humans were nothing more than a fleeting curiosity, a species not worth taking seriously. As the Xiphons made their disdain for humanity clear, they began to treat humans as an insignificant force, barely worthy of their attention. They considered humans weak and believed they would easily dominate them if the need arose. The Xiphons' arrogance was clear: they thought their superior technology and long-standing empire made them untouchable. To them, the universe had already been claimed, and humans were just another species to be brushed aside. But they made a fatal mistake, underestimating human determination and ingenuity. When a skirmish broke out between the Xiphons and a human exploration vessel, the Xiphons expected an easy victory. Their ships were much larger and more powerful, with weapons capable of annihilating any opponent in seconds. They deployed their forces with a sense of superiority, thinking that humans, with their relatively primitive tech, would not stand a chance. However, what the Xiphons didn't account for was humanity's ability to think outside the box and turn the odds in their favor. Human soldiers, led by Captain Elias Kane, had been trained for this moment. They didn't have the same advanced technology as the Xiphons, but they had something far more dangerous: ingenuity and creativity. As the Xiphons closed in for the kill, Kane and his team deployed their own secret weapon, a newly developed cloaking device that rendered their ships invisible to the enemy. The Xiphons, relying on their traditional military strategies, found themselves caught off guard. They couldn't detect the humans' movements, and the battlefield became a chaotic game of hide-and-seek. As the battle continued, humans used their weapons in unexpected ways. Instead of relying on brute force, they employed guerrilla tactics, using small, highly mobile ships to strike at weak points in the Xiphon fleet. These ships, equipped with advanced human weapons, unleashed devastating firepower on the alien forces. The Xiphons, who had never imagined that a species they considered inferior could pose any real threat, were thrown into disarray. Their ships, built for power but lacking flexibility, were unable to adapt to the unpredictable nature of human tactics. In one key moment, a human warship led by Captain Kane made a daring move. They lured a group of Xiphon ships into an asteroid field, where the humans used their agility and cloaking devices to ambush the aliens. The surprise attack shattered the Xiphon's fleet, and for the first time, the alien species felt fear. The humans had taken down one of their most powerful ships, leaving the Xiphons scrambling to regroup. This victory sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Xiphons, who had once viewed humanity as insignificant, now saw them as a force to be reckoned with. They were forced to rethink their entire approach, realizing that humans were not only capable of surviving in the galaxy but could also disrupt the established order with their unpredictable and resourceful tactics. Humanity's entry into the galactic stage had not just been a technological triumph, it had been a declaration that they were no longer a species to be ignored. As the humans left the battlefield victorious, the galaxy began to take notice. The Xiphons were shaken, and other alien species watched closely, wondering what this new player in the galactic stage would do next. The humans had shown that even against superior forces, they could turn the tide of battle with their resourcefulness, and this victory marked the beginning of their rise in galactic politics. As humanity's victory over the alien fleet spread throughout the galaxy, a dark secret about the Galactic Senate begins to surface. What had initially seemed like a simple matter of banning human weapons for safety reasons was much more complex and sinister. The weapons that humans had developed, which had been used sparingly during their initial battles, were now becoming a bigger threat than anyone could have imagined. These weapons, which once appeared to be nothing more than advanced tools of war, were starting to spread to every corner of the galaxy, far beyond humanity's own control. The situation was spiraling out of control, and the Senate was starting to realize that the galaxy's future was at stake. At first, the weapons were used to defend Earth and to protect human colonies, but now they had found their way into the hands of all sorts of different factions. The alien empires had assumed that once humanity's weapons were used against them, they would simply be wiped out, and the technology would be lost to the galaxy. But they were wrong. The weapons were unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. They weren't just powerful, they were adaptive and self-replicating. This meant that once unleashed, they could multiply, evolving with each encounter, and soon there would be no way to stop them. The real shock came when the Galactic Senate, consisting of the most powerful alien races, discovered that these human weapons had the potential to permanently disrupt the galaxy's balance. Unlike the advanced, controlled technology that the alien empires had developed over centuries, these human weapons had a unique and dangerous characteristic: they could replicate themselves. A simple missile, for instance, could become thousands, each one independently targeting alien assets with ruthless precision. No matter how many times the aliens tried to neutralize them, more kept appearing, as if by magic. The Senate had never encountered anything like it. The very idea that human weapons could grow and evolve was enough to send shockwaves through the council. The problem was bigger than they had anticipated. If humans continued to develop and deploy these weapons freely, the entire power structure of the galaxy could collapse. Alien species that had dominated for millennia feared that humanity's weapons would undermine their dominance. The Senate knew that if the self-replicating weapons spread unchecked, they could destabilize the galaxy, possibly even lead to the extinction of entire alien civilizations. They realized that humanity's weaponry wasn't just a threat to their armies, it was a threat to their very way of life. In the depths of the Senate chambers, heated debates broke out. Some factions pushed for the immediate and total destruction of humanity's weapons, arguing that this was the only way to protect the galaxy from chaos. Others, however, believed that there was no going back and that humanity had to be controlled at all costs. The discussion turned dark as the Senate debated how far they were willing to go to stop the spread of human technology. The pressure was mounting as the reality of the situation set in: if they didn't act quickly, the galaxy could be changed forever. The truth was simple, yet terrifying: humanity had unlocked a level of destructive power that the galaxy wasn't ready for. The alien forces had deployed their AI-controlled robots and vast fleets of warships, all under the command of the alien empire's most ruthless generals. The station's defenses were nearly impenetrable, but humanity's ingenuity had a plan to take it down. Using their own advanced weapons, the humans had already begun to turn the tide. The station was surrounded by orbital bombardments, waves of devastating missiles launched from human warships, hitting alien cities below with precision strikes. The sight of alien cities crumbling under the bombardment was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As the battle raged on, Kane's squad infiltrated the heart of the space station. The station's corridors were filled with the sound of gunfire, explosions, and the mechanical clanking of AI-controlled robots coming at them from every direction. Human soldiers, armed with advanced cloaking devices, moved silently through the chaos, becoming invisible to their enemies. This gave them the element of surprise, allowing them to ambush alien forces and strike with deadly precision. The scene was intense, robots falling to the ground in sparks and smoke, alien soldiers screaming as they were taken down one by the unseen human forces. It was the ultimate game of cat and mouse, and the humans were the predators. In the heat of the battle, one of Kane's most trusted soldiers, Bonner, found himself trapped in a dangerous situation. With the mission on the line and the aliens closing in, Bonner made the ultimate sacrifice. He threw himself into a group of enemy forces, allowing Kane and the others to escape with the critical information they needed to destroy the station's core. The explosion that followed was massive, shaking the entire station and sending shockwaves through the alien fleet. Bonner's death was not just a sacrifice, it was the spark that ignited the final push toward victory. Kane, devastated by the loss of his friend, stood tall as the final moments of the battle unfolded. As the last alien forces were defeated, he addressed his team with a passionate monologue that would be remembered for generations. "We fight because we know what it means to lose everything. That's why we will always win," he said, his voice filled with a mix of anger, grief, and determination. The words echoed through the hearts of his squad, giving them the strength to finish the fight. With Bonner's sacrifice and the destruction of the space station, humanity's victory was sealed. The alien fleets were destroyed, their forces decimated. For the first time in the galaxy's history, humanity had proven that even against the most advanced and ruthless of enemies, the spirit of human resilience and ingenuity could never be defeated. It was a moment of triumph, but also a moment of deep loss, as the cost of victory weighed heavily on Kane and his soldiers. As the dust settled and the last of the alien resistance was crushed, humanity had emerged victorious. But the war was far from over. This battle had been won, but the galaxy would never be the same again. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: humans had earned their place among the stars. After the intense and victorious battle, the humans stood tall, their forces triumphant against the overwhelming alien power. The final explosions had subsided, the space station lay in ruins, and the alien fleets had been decimated. It seemed as though humanity had finally secured its place in the galaxy. The cheers of victory rang out among the human soldiers, but the feeling of triumph was bittersweet, overshadowed by the loss of so many brave men and women, like Bonner. The cost of this victory was heavy, but the galaxy had witnessed the indomitable spirit of humankind. However, as the dust settled and the humans celebrated their hard-earned win, the story wasn't over. Unknown to the soldiers, the Galactic Senate, which had once been so determined to ban human weapons, was already making plans of its own. The Senate, filled with the leaders of alien empires, began to reassess their previous decisions. They had underestimated humanity's potential, and now, they saw the power of human technology not just as a threat, but as an asset. Secretly, they had begun to gather human-designed weapons, intending to reverse-engineer them for their own use in future conflicts. The aliens knew that if humanity could fight in such an unpredictable and ingenious manner, they could not afford to be left behind. The very technology that had led to their defeat would now be their tool for future battles. In the midst of this, Captain Elias Kane and his team were summoned to a secure location, away from the eyes of the public and their fellow soldiers. They arrived, unsure of what to expect, their emotions still raw from the battle. What they found was a room filled with high-ranking officials and alien diplomats. It wasn't a victory celebration, it was something far more serious. Kane could sense the tension in the air as he and his squad stood before the leaders of the galaxy's empires. One of the alien diplomats, the same one who had once called humanity the universe's greatest threat, stepped forward. He looked at Kane and his team, his eyes cold and calculating. "You've shown us your strength," he said, his voice measured and filled with a quiet authority, "now show us your mercy." The words hung in the air, and for a moment, the room was silent. Kane's mind raced, trying to understand the meaning behind the statement. What did they want from humanity now? Had they truly learned to respect them, or was this another manipulation? The alien diplomat continued, "The galaxy has seen what you are capable of. You have earned our fear, but also our respect. The question is, what will you do with this power? Will you turn it against us, or will you show mercy?" The request, though seemingly diplomatic, left Kane and his team unsettled. The twist was clear, the battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The aliens had realized that the true threat wasn't just in the weapons, they had come to understand that humanity's unpredictability and refusal to follow the rules made them a force unlike any other in the galaxy. Now, they were asking humanity for mercy, but what did this mean for the future? Kane couldn't help but feel a deep sense of unease. The aliens had shown their true colors, and now they wanted to make sure that humanity wouldn't become the galaxy's new oppressors. This conversation marked a turning point. Humanity had proven itself, but the question now was what path they would choose. Would they seek revenge, or would they take the high road, showing mercy to their former enemies? As Kane and his team left the room, they couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something much larger. The battle may have been won, but the future of humanity in the galaxy remained uncertain. The aliens had underestimated them before, but now, humanity held the power. Would they use it for good, or would they rise as the next dominant force in the galaxy? The ending left the audience with a sense of suspense and curiosity. There were more battles ahead, more challenges to face, and the ultimate question remained: what would humanity do with the power they had fought so hard to attain?